right, I have the rest of the parts and all the hardware I need. At least I think I do. We're going to get started right away. I'm really anxious to see just how well this car is going to run. All right, just a quick word on the wheels I chose. I went with CB Design for several reasons. First of all is the precision and quality. There's just not a better precision wheel that I've ever used in the hobby, so I'm very happy with the product. That's why I use it. Second thing, I went with the 5-spoke racing wheels and not a standard insert wheel because of a couple of reasons. Because you can put an insert in here anyway. So if you want to use inserts, you could. I'm not so sure I am. I like this design. I think this design is going to look cool on this car because we talked about it before. I'm just not a fan of the wheels that are on this car. They're just too shallow. They just don't look good to me. And the car isn't 100% accurate anyway, so I might just leave these wheels just the way they are. I don't even know if I'll paint them. I think I like them just the way they are. So we're going to get some tires mounted on here, and we're going to start true in the fronts, and we're going to get these installed. Okay, with the wheels and tires, like I mentioned, the stock tires for the fronts or the rears, either way, but they do fit the 15x8 CB Design wheel. So I've got this mounted on the truer, and we're going to give it just a quick true. We're not going to reduce diameter too much. Then I'll do the other one, and we'll get the front end set up. Okay, I finished truing this tire. Basically, that's it. You can see the dust amount that I took off. Not very much at all, just enough to get it nice and true to the wheel. Now we'll do the other one. As far as making something zero grip, the stock Scalextric rubber on my track is about as zero grip as it gets, especially when it gets dusty and you don't clean them. But if you really had to, if you wanted to, I like to use, just to seal the rubber, the Pledge Revive It Floor Gloss. Any floor polish will work actually. And just get a cheap paintbrush here. I've got this set on 2 volts, really low and slow. And just give it a little bit like that. I'll sit there and let it run for about 2 minutes, and then you can give it another coat. But like I said, when it comes to the zero grips, the stock rubber, you really don't have to treat it at all. Okay, so test fitting the front axle with the wheels and tires, I figured this was going to happen, but we do have some rubbing. And I was suspecting that would happen, and that's okay, because we're going to address it a couple of different ways. We're going to show you that when we put it in the tire machine. But just to be fair, I wanted to let you know that this is a stock Camaro. And as I pointed out in the review, these cars are very, very close to rubbing straight out of the box. So I knew it would be close, but as you can tell, just by a little bit there, that they're real close to rubbing anyhow. So you'd have to sand these anyway. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to give a little sanding, and we're going to take a look at the body. Okay, so to address this issue, we're going to do a few different things. First of all, I've went ahead and I've measured the diameter of the tire on the wheel. Good old handy caliper. And we're right at 2180. I'm probably going to bring it down to 21, if not 20, to reduce the diameter just a little bit. Not too much. I don't want to go crazy, just a little bit. But the most important thing is using good old-fashioned emery board while this is at speed. We're going to take this edge. We're going to round this edge off here on the outside. And then we're also going to remove what sidewall is here and make it flush with the wheel, because it was rubbing on both sides. So it was rubbing here, primarily this thicker plastic area right there. It was rubbing on the outside. You could sand that a little bit if you wanted to, but you shouldn't have to. We might, but we shouldn't have to. And the other issue is that sidewall is just enough, as you can see, that it's rubbing here on this edge right there. So that's what we're going to do. All right, you should be able to tell the difference there. I've rounded that off. Nice little contour right there. I've reduced the diameter down to 21.25. So I didn't even go all the way to 21. I stopped there. I'm going to test fit as I go. And I've got this back sidewall flush with the wheel. So let's give it a test fit. All right, and as you can see, that did the trick. We're not rubbing it all anymore. I even have room for a small shim, which I wanted anyway. You can see we've got clearance there between the tire and the chassis, and plenty of clearance there between the tire and the body. So all it took was a little bit more tire work, and we are good to go. And sure enough, we had enough room to add the thinnest shim that Sockar Corner makes, 5 thousandths. It's just, I like to have that, for rotational effect in between the wheel and the plastic. So just with that little bit of sanding on those tires, it gave us just enough. Okay, so we will talk a little bit about body modifications if you're comfortable with it. What I want to point out to you is that there's a really thick layer of plastic here, and that's where the tires were rubbing. And if you're comfortable with it, you can take a Dremel with a milling bit, and you can go in here and you can remove quite a bit of plastic actually to help with the clearance issues if you're still having problems. And you're not altering the outside appearance of the car. So you're not hogging out these wheel wells or anything like that. You're going to the inside and getting the plastic. So I did that just to show you. I didn't really need to, but it is an option. So if you're still having issues with the rubbing, when you take the body off, check that and you'll notice how much plastic is there. And like I said, if you're comfortable with it, go for it. Okay, so we'll just do a quick recap of what we've done. We've sanded our tires. We had to go back, sand them again, get the clearance, and if needed, we sanded the inside of the body. I didn't have to, but I did. As you can see with the body just sitting on here, you see how free it is. That's from the part previous where we talked about getting the body float. That's what you want. And now with our front axle and our tires in there, I measured and I cut the axle, and it's beautiful. And just remember, just a little drop of oil, very, very light, not a lot, and you have a really nice free spinning axle, just the way you want. And the reason I don't go too low diameter on the tires, you could order lower diameter tires, but I wanted to use the ones out of the kit or out of the car, and I didn't want to go too low because I wanted to make sure I could get the right height exactly where I wanted it with the slot invasion guide that I've already installed. And boy, we're just about perfect. I don't know if I'll do anything at all. So that's just about where I wanted it. And I think it looks good too with these wheels. Like I said, I'm really think I'm just going to leave them just like that because I like badass, and that kind of looks that way. But anyway, I hope this part helped you on the front axle. We're going to get to the rear. I'm going to start talking about the gears and stuff, but I hope this helps you guys, and always look forward to listening to your feedback online.